Okay, good day. We are here today. Welcome back to my channel. We're here today to cover part 3 of 4 of Megan Connor's response to Lauren Matthias's 9-hour live. I don't have any credentials particularly to be discussing these things. I'm an ex-mechanic with an English degree and a fair bit of experience with toxic and personality disordered individuals. And yeah, without further ado. Okay, so it looks like this one is live. It's an hour and 52 minutes long. I haven't seen it, so I'm just gonna, here we go. See how it goes. I'm not sure how much the live is gonna interfere with responding, but we'll see.
Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome to the Midlife Revolution. I'm your host, Megan Connor. And today I want to play the audio from the civil stalking injunction hearing that involved Lauren Matthias of Hidden True Crime. There's obviously a lot of controversy about this subject. So you can see on the crawl down here that I have posted, chat must be kind and respectful. Disagreement is fine. Attacks and vitriol will not be tolerated.
So I don't really think that there's an awful lot of controversy. I think there's a big fat dumpster fire full of lies, and then there's the truth. So she's framing it as something that it's not already, to try to make it seem like there's two sides or something, that there's like, I guess there has been a lot of talk about it, but I don't think that necessarily makes it controversial.
I do have the chat set to subscribers only, and you do have to be subscribed for at least 5 minutes before you are allowed to comment. And I felt that doing that would make it a little bit of a safer environment where you have to actually think about what you're going to post before you post it.
I wonder what Grayson would think about that. Grayson seems to think that anybody who believes in free speech should leave their comment sections open.
And so just so that you're aware, that's what the settings are. I really...
So she's literally starting out with the school marm moralizing nonsense right away, right? Like, it's just so tedious and ick.
Hope that everybody has listened to the 2 videos that I just posted about an hour ago. The first one is called Is It Stalking? And just, full disclosure, I recorded an entire video with the court audio and my commentary. And when I went to go edit it, I started editing it on Saturday night. I went to go finish it on Sunday morning and got to the point where there was audio and the court audio was not playing. I didn't know how to remedy that solution other than just to clip the beginning part of the video and the end part of the video and then to do this as a live. So those are my thoughts. Those 2 videos are my thoughts before and after I commented on what we're about to do here, which is to play the audio from the court hearing. If you listen to or watch those 2 videos, it describes a lot of my feelings around this situation. And to me, really, only 2 things actually matter. Number 1 is what happened to Lauren. Does it meet the legal definition for stalking? And number 2, was the stalking injunction violated? Everything else is a lot of noise around an issue that could have been a much smaller issue.
She's right about that. So there has been a lot of noise. But if you answer the first question, no, there is no second question.
So just as a matter of housekeeping, please keep the chat kind and respectful. I'm totally fine with disagreement. I'm totally fine with pushback. But attack, again, vitriol, not welcome, okay?
She's the only one who's allowed to be vitriolic and biased. So y'all watch out.
I do have some mods here. Thank you for being here. I've got Kirsten in the studio with me who's going to help me with questions and comments. If you have a question, we will try to start it and try to get to it, but I am doing a live with Kirsten at 8 p.m. Central Time, which is in an hour and 45 minutes. So I'm trying to keep this to about 90 minutes so that I can have time to decompress before I go do the other live, which is going to be a lot more fun than this one is. Steve, good to see you. Thanks.
That seems like kind of a weird thing to say. Her whole energy going into this seems to be like, oh, this is going to be like a like a knockdown drag out, and everybody, it's all like people are like straining at their leashes to get in there and attack. Like, it's weird framing. And then the this isn't fun, but I'm, I'm here being the school marm to oversee all the crazy masses, and then later I'm going to go do something that I enjoy. It's very weird. It's weird framing, and it's off-putting. Like, does she have... Maybe she should, like, go... Maybe I shouldn't say that. It just seems like weird. Like, if I was one of her followers, I would feel like, that's a weird way to talk to us, right? It just seems weird. Or she thinks that she's so important that there's, like, masses of people who don't agree with her that are coming to her live to tell her off or something. I don't know. The framing of it is all very odd to me. I have no idea how many people watched.
For being here. And I think I saw No More BS as a mod, and I also saw, yeah, you did. Thank you for being here. I don't see any other mods right now, so thank you guys for doing the heavy lifting today. So a couple of things that
She just, like, self-importance is just oozing out of every pore that you can't see because of the filters.
I would like to just, put out there as we're beginning. Please keep an open mind. I think that we are at our best when we're willing to change our opinion when we receive new information.
School marming again. She's already said that she wasn't trying to change anybody's mind, and she doesn't think she can, but now she's over here saying, keep your mind open so I can change it.
And the other part to that is that I'm also willing to keep an open mind. I'm also, receiving new information all the time, and I do change my opinions when I receive new information.
So this was a couple of months ago now, and there has been plenty of new information. Maybe she has since released a new video all about how she's not on Lauren's side anymore, but I do feel like I might have heard about that if that was the case.
So one of the things that I think is really, really important that I did mention in those other two videos, just in case you haven't watched them, is this concept that there are no perfect victims. Lauren Matthias is a complicated person.
Let's just cut to the chase here. She is doing that thing where, like that Don Williams guy, the daughter, is that his name? Don Summer, his daughter went missing. And at some point he admitted to having molested his very young stepsister, when he was 12. And then when people went, holy smokes, Don, that's not great, he was like, have you never done anything wrong? So that's the level of discourse here. And she thinks that that is an appropriate level of discourse. And that saying that Lauren is a complicated person absolves her of terrible behavior, or the need to be apparently accountable for it. So... interesting choice.
Are we all? And there definitely is this sort of idea that it's much easier for things to be black and white. So if Lauren has if she has done or said hurtful, harmful things, then, then we're not on her side. And so no matter what she says, we're not going to agree with her. I hope that we're not that polarized. I hope that we're not that black and white. I hope...
If Lauren said something that I agreed with, I would say so. I don't have that much difficulty. I'm not sure why she is assuming that everybody is this mass of unruly school children who haven't got the wit to be able to, judge a situation without having it all, without being, tisked about it before they go in. It's just so off-putting. I can't imagine why she thinks this is a winning personality. And this is like, it's a kind of an authoritarian way of behaving. And there are a lot of people in the general population, like up to 30%, who have authoritarian personalities and prefer to have someone tell them what to think. So maybe that's her audience.
We're more nuanced than that. To be able to say two things can be true at the same time. Number one, Lauren can have been the victim of stalking, and also she can have said harmful things to people that are not okay.
Two things can be true. Lauren could have said harmful things to people that are not okay, and she could have accused someone of stalking her to try to get out of that. So she's right. Two things can be true.
So just please keep in mind that that two things can be true at the same time. Many things can be true at the same time. And, somebody saying mean things or harmful things to a person does not mean that they deserve to be harassed and threatened and bullied. So let's put that out there as well.
So she wasn't harassed or threatened or bullied, so I'm just going to counter that, because you have to counter it every time, because she says that as though that's what happened, and it didn't. So to come over here pretending that she's not biased is ridiculous.
I like this, Caroline, as you can dislike Lauren and still see what's happening to her is wrong. That's a great point, and that summarizes it better than I did just now.
Again, what's happening to Lauren is that she is suffering the consequences of the wounds that she inflicted on herself and others.
Rarely are things black and white. In fact, they almost never are. But I put the almost in there as a qualifier because they can be. So the other thing I want to address really quickly is that, yes, I have seen Gigi's statement and I have read it. And what I saw in that statement was somebody who had a negative experience with Lauren, addressed it directly with Lauren, and they both moved on. And also, I said in the video that I listened to Kresha's.
I mean, this is before the body cam footage came out, obviously, so I think we can say what's true is that Gigi acted like an adult and Lauren acted like the narcissistic, toddler-minded fool that we all know her to be. Since all of the body cam footage and everything else came out since the 9-hour. I don't even know what to call it anymore.
Live, but I made the video before she did her live last night. So I want to clarify that. I watched a portion of her live on Friday. I did not watch any of her live last night. And the only thing that I can say about that is I texted her last night when several people were telling me what was going on about, Kresha's live. And I just texted Kresha, and I don't agree with what she did or the way that she did it, but that's a conversation for me and Kresha to have.
I just texted Kresha, and that's a conversation for me and Kresha to have, because me and Kresha, who is an important figure in all of this, have a personal relationship, in case you didn't know. Just so you know, just so everybody knows who I am in all of this. I am a major player.
And I will say the same thing about Kay.
I mean, it's no wonder that some of these people fall for her, right? This is right up their alley of being told what to think by someone in the know so that they can feel safe in their little opinions or whatever. It's very plain and it's very boring. I can't understand people being engaged with this on the level that she wants to engage them. I mean, it's engaging just because of the example of speciousness that it is, but if this is who they look up to as an intellectual, it is no wonder that they hold the opinions that they hold.
I didn't watch it, so I don't know exactly what was said. I only know what was reported to me. And if what was reported to me is true, then I hope that we'll be able to have a conversation, because that's between, how I feel about Kresha is between me and Kresha. How I feel about Kay is between me and Kay. So I wanted to put that out there because I know people have been asking in the comments about it, and I'm just not going to address it because that's between me and them, and it's not for public.
Also, they don't like you, and you probably don't want to announce to everybody that they don't like you and the reasons why. I don't know that for sure. I'm just speculating, but
fodder as far as I'm concerned. So that's pretty much it. Now, the first thing that I want to do is I want to show you the civil stalking injunction. I have redacted some portions of it. And this is from the motion to enforce the civil stalking injunction. And I want to go through it because it does list the terms of the civil stalking injunction so that we can see, all of this happened before the court hearing that we're about to listen to. So, excuse me. CSI issued on this court on September 4th, 2025, specifically orders the respondent, Lawrence the petitioner, Christina is the respondent, specifically orders the respondent to A, not stalk the petitioner, including not following, threatening, annoying, or harassing the petitioner in a way that would cause a reasonable person to suffer emotional distress or fear for their safety. B, no contact order.
make note of the reasonable person, because she flies by that as though it isn't literally the most significant word in the whole entire application here.
Not to contact, phone, text, email, mail, or communicate in any way with the petitioner and the following protected persons: John Matthias, Grayson, their son, immediate and extended family, business co-workers / employees of True Crime Podcast / docuseries. A stay away order. Stay away from the petitioner's current or future home, the petitioner's work address, the petitioner's vehicle, online forums, and other social media accounts, and it specifically mentions the 2025 CrimeCon Expo. Additional orders not to come within...
Yeah, we know that it specifically mentions CrimeCon. It was the whole culmination of Lauren's work was to get Christina arrested at CrimeCon. So we are well aware, Megan, and most people seem to be aware of the role that you played, either wittingly or otherwise, in that whole fiasco.
500 feet of petitioner, her immediate and extended family, co-workers, employees, or place of business. 2, cease and desist any and all online activity and communications, direct or indirect, relating to or referencing the petitioner, her family, her co-workers, or professional associates. The CSI clearly states that violation of these orders is a criminal Class A misdemeanor.
I can see why people were confused, and it sort of does sound like the judge was saying she can't go online. But he did clarify that she was not to... like, he had meant harassing or defaming, not just posting.
By up to 1 year in jail and a fine with a second or subsequent violation resulting in more severe penalties.
Right? They were trying to get her put in jail.
So now we get into the violations of the civil stalking injunction.
Because, you know, like, if she was giving a truly, like, both sides, you know, let's look at the facts version here, she would say, like, that's a pretty big consequence if it turns out that this isn't real, the way people seem to think that it's not real.
Despite being served with the CSI on September 4th, accepted by her husband, who confirmed he would inform her, respondent has engaged in multiple willful violations of the court's orders as documented in the petitioner's second declaration and supporting exhibits. Violation of online activity prohibition. 1, later the same evening as she was served, respondent published posts on both TikTok and Instagram accounts she created to target the petitioner. And I showed the account on, I think it's my...
So these are the ones where she's going to start saying that Christina violated it 6 times and 3 of them were online, and this is what she's going to start talking about. Though, if you recall, she wasn't able to find the TikTok that is mentioned here in her last video.
Second video that I posted tonight, part 2 of 3, and I go over that. 2, posted a video with lyrics, quote, "Whoops, you messed up, ran around, and then you got caught. Whoops, you messed up, now you're crying about what you lost." 3, responded to a friend's comment about telling the real story with "as you wish," and they have that as an exhibit. And that was a comment that Lauren showed on her live where Lindsay says, "Time to tell the real story," and Christina says, "as you wish." B, violation of stay away order, CrimeCon Expo. 1, respondent traveled to and attended CrimeCon Expo, which was specifically prohibited in the civil stalking injunction. 2, approached CrimeCon security, acknowledging she was aware of the CSI, but intended to attend anyway. 3, was observed by law enforcement walking through crime.
I don't remember her saying she intended to attend anyway. I don't remember her saying that. Is it possible? To my mind, it's possible that she was going down there too so that she could find out if she was going to be served. I mean, all she had was, like, she hadn't been served, right? So how are they going to serve her if she's not there? So again, she's not looking at any other, she's assuming motivations. I mean, she's reading off of this, but these guys are assuming motivations. And, like, that's the problem with taking an argument from a lawyer and saying this is a legal point, right? Because the lawyer is imputing motives here that were not in evidence. So, you know, people like Megan will fall for that and repeat it. But I don't remember any part of the video where Christina said, "I'm going anyways, I don't care." Like, at all. She had been to the police station the day before. She had tried to sort it out. She was like, I know what this is about. She sat down immediately and cooperated with them. She said, I'm not trying to get out of it. I'm just asking questions. Like, so this is obviously misrepresenting it, and she's reading this off as though it's like, this is not like a judge's ruling that you can read off at the end and go, see, this is the thing, right? This is one side's argument.
In close proximity to petitioner's location. 4, when confronted by officers, admitted she knew about the order and that her husband had sent it to her. 5, was physically served again and told to leave immediately or face arrest. C, additional online violations.
Right, so that, right there, she was served again. She wasn't served again. She was served for the first time. It's not the same thing. And that's a it's up to the judge to respond to these arguments, right? These arguments are not the law. They're just arguments.
Being removed from CrimeCon, posted 2 more videos on TikTok and Instagram. 2, first video, mouthed audio stating, quote, don't lie on me, with threatening undertones. 3, second video, performed lyrics from
Don't lie on me? Don't lie on me, with threatening undertones. What was threatening about those undertones? I wonder.
Eminem's Worms, including, quote, I'ma make you eat your words, a direct threat. D.
Again, right? This is why I'm exactly saying, like, she's trying to pretend like she's not biased here, and she's just reading out the arguments of Lauren's brother's employees.
Violation of 500-foot stay-away order. 1, stood just feet away from petitioner in hotel bar area while holding a camera. 2, only departed after observing petitioner's producer on the phone with her.
She's a photographer, and she left once Queen Lauren showed up with her little entourage. Christina left.
Aurora police. 3, photos document respondent within feet of petitioner and producer Grayson Yore. And again, that photograph is on Lauren's live, as well as I showed it at the very beginning of the first video I posted today.
Yeah, right. She showed it at the very beginning of everything so that she could color the whole, just the facts analysis with biased evidence. So, good job, Megan.
E, second violation of stay-away order. 1, again came within 500 feet of petitioner in bar area during lunch. 2, was escorted by security to a restaurant directly behind petitioner. And just so that you're aware of the setup of this CrimeCon venue that we were at, it was a hotel, and the bar area was huge. And on both sides of the bar area, there were...
Again, I mean, like, I know she was there, and it's fine that she's describing it, but it just, to me, it just stinks of this whole, I'm a part of this, I'm important, I'm one of the major players. And it's bleh.
Several restaurants. And so it was a very large area. And a lot of people are saying, well, Christina was there first, and then Lauren came in. And to be honest with you guys, I don't know if Christina was there first. All I know is...
So why are you covering it that way and coloring it that way and reading this out as though it happened that way?
That I came to the bar area, Lauren and Grayson were there, we were hanging out, and Grayson alerted me to the fact that Christina was there. So at that point, Grayson and I went to talk to security, and it was during that time that Joe took that photograph.
So she was in on going to talk to security. So that's good to know. She's got dirty hands in this too, more than just inserting herself afterwards. She was part of the sicking the law enforcement on people.
And I don't know the circumstances.
Like, she's like literally sitting here going, I don't know the circumstances. I don't know what happened. But I was willing to play a role in sicking law enforcement on these people. Because why? Why? Like, what was her... Did she believe so strongly that Lauren was telling the truth? Did she just want to be part of the story? Like, why did she insert herself like that?
Surrounding that. But I certainly don't think that Joe did anything to try and quote-unquote entrap Christina. But
she certainly doesn't think that, but she hasn't got any evidence of it, so...
Christina was also, she was very well aware of how close she was to Grayson and Lauren because she looked over several times.
Again, so far I find none of anything that she has said credible. So her eyewitness accounts is, to me, not credible either. And I mean, I'm not a member of a jury in a court of law, but I feel like it's up to me to decide on how much of her testimony is credible. And so far, I do not find her credible, in spite of her attempts to moralize me into being on her side.
I wanted to clear a little bit of that up about the proximity of the bar locations.
She has not cleared anything up. She's made herself a part of the story. That's literally all she's done.
F, indirect harassment through third parties. 1, respondent's associate Lori Hellis published YouTube video discussing the CSI and using the petitioner's name. 2, respondent commented on the video, quote, "Thank you, Lori, thank you," with crying emojis. 3, video resulted in threatening emails and comments directed at the petitioner. 4, demonstrates respondent directing/encouraging others to harass petitioner on her behalf.
I don't think it demonstrates that. Again, that's an argument, not proof of anything. And I don't think that... I mean, so if Lori Hellis took it upon herself to do that, I don't really see that as Christina's responsibility. And she's not allowed to harass or defame Lauren online. She didn't harass or defame her or encourage anybody else to harass or defame her. So, again, like she's not forbidden from talking about people, and neither are others. So this isn't evidence of what they're saying it is. I mean, to me, it's not. If I had to make some decision based on this, I'd be like, me.
7, these repeated and escalating violations have caused the petitioner extreme fear for her safety and that of her family, demonstrating respondents' complete disregard for this court's authority and deliberate intent to continue stalking and harassing petitioner despite the active injunction. So I wanted to share that with you.
She just wanted to share the one side. Let's see if she's going to share the other side. We'll see. Let's see.
And then there is a cease and desist that is discussed throughout this case, as if it's something that is a really big deal, and as if it's something that, the circumstances where Lauren was asking for a seat next to Lindsay at the Koberger hearing, where it was very small. And a couple of the other friends in this group got angry with Lauren and Grace and confronted them in a restaurant, saying, basically, how dare you talk to Christina after you sent a cease and desist? The cease and desist had nothing to do.
First of all, it wasn't Christina. It was... I think it was somebody named Lori. Not 100% on that, but I am 100% on it wasn't Christina.
With that situation, it was something that had been sent a long time ago, and it was basically Lauren asking Lindsay not to use their private, or not to reference their private conversations or share screenshots of their private conversations.
Okay, so she's just repeating this as though she knows what actually happened. She wasn't there. She's saying it was Christina. She's saying this cease and desist wasn't important, although how she can know it wasn't important, or who it was important to, or what their feelings about it might have been. Apparently, Lauren is allowed to feel harassed and defamed by people, but other people are not allowed to have feelings about things that Lauren does. So again, her bias is just spilling all over this conversation here, and she's still trying to get you to think that she's the voice of reason.
So that's really all it was.
She has no authority to say what that was, right? And the fact that she thinks she does, and that many, many people who follow her also think she does, is how we get into these kinds of messes.
So now I would like to go ahead and play the audio from the court hearing. So this is the kind of stuff that's just not really helpful. Comments like Lauren is a fake. I mean, that's just not helpful.
Actually, it is helpful. It's an astute observation. Lauren is a fake. So if that's true, right, she just wants to, like, nope, you're not allowed to say anything about nope. Like, if Lauren is a fake, that has bearing on this entire controversy, right? So, again, your bias is showing, Megan.
It's not an argument. It's not a disagreement. That's just calling somebody a name. And that's...
it's not just calling somebody a name, it's making an observation about someone. It's making a judgment about them based on what you have observed in their behavior. And in a situation like this, where people's credibility is extremely important because everybody is being asked to sign declarations and tell their side of the story, being a fake is about as relevant as it could possibly be. Look at her smug little face here, telling people off. You're no name calling. Like, she has no idea.
Not really welcome. Sorry. Yes, please respect the rules. Thank you, Kirsten.
The rules over here are that we only accept arguments that, clear Lauren of any culpability in any of this. Let's be clear about what the rules are. Hey, Megan? Megan? I don't know why I can't remember to just call her Megan. Drives me crazy when people call Stefan Stearns Stefan. Drives me bonkers, and yet here I am mispronouncing her name repeatedly.
Full disclosure, as I said, Kirsten's here in the studio, and she is chatting under my name, which is something I have authorized her to do. All right. I wanted to...
Can you imagine the honor of being authorized to speak under Megan Connor's name? Oh my God.
Share this YouTube channel because this is where I found the audio for the court hearing.
I feel like she is the kind of person that likes to have ladies in waiting too, like Lauren, right? She doesn't want to be one of Lauren's ladies in waiting. She wants to be over here and have her own little circle of ladies in waiting. So we got Queen Lauren over here and Queen Megan over here, and their little circles of ladies in waiting can go back and forth and mingle.
Just kind of scrolling through YouTube, and this came up. And so I reached out to this creator and asked her if I could share her audio of this. I want to first go to the main page, and this is the reason why. This creator is called, it's at That One Girl Melly Star. She only has about 14,500 subscribers. I, full disclosure, have no idea what she thinks of Lauren.
What do you mean she only has? Why would you say it like that? Why wouldn't you say she has this many subscribers? Right? It's like, that's a judgment, and I have no idea why she would want to judge her.
Or what she thinks of the case, other than what she has said on this audio recording. But I read the description of her channel. It says, welcome, this is a safe space for anyone to be their authentic self without the fear of being judged or bullied. A place where we can talk about the realities and the darkness that lurks behind true crime. Crime disrupts and destroys thousands of lives every single day, and I've been passionate about true crime for as long as I can remember. Speaking and bringing awareness to these cases, we can make a difference. Here for a good time. So, try her out. Maybe see if you want to sub to her channel. I would appreciate it. And I did reach out to her. I sent her.
You notice she hasn't subscribed to her, though. See that? Interesting.
Buy me a coffee and asked if I could use this audio. And I wanted to support her because I think women creators supporting other women creators is really important.
Awesome. Maybe she'll support me. You think? That would be awesome.
Okay, so I am going to zoom in a little bit because she's got her chat there, and I don't know if her subs are okay with all of this being shared over here. So I'm just zooming in so that we can focus on what's on the screen, or sorry, the audio rather than what's on the screen. So this is the hearing that was held. It was supposed to be to make the civil stalking injunction permanent. And instead what ended up happening is they didn't have...
It wasn't to make the civil stalking injunction permanent. It was to have a hearing about whether there should be a civil stalking injunction at all. So again, she's coloring everything in one way and pretending that she is neutral. It's wild. Like, who is this person?
Enough time to present all of the evidence, and so they had to reschedule it for October 16th. And just prior to that is when they found out that Law and Crime had been granted a request to live stream it. And here's the other thing I want to point out. This is really important. I said this on one of my other videos. What Lauren shared on her 9-hour live, she shared a statement from Dr. John that mentioned briefly mental health information about Lauren and about their son. She did not reveal the full extent of the protected mental health information that was going to be shared in the court hearing and live streamed by Law and Crime. So she exposed about this much of the mental health information. There was a lot more that she didn't reveal. And that's what she was trying to protect by not having Law and Crime live stream it. That's why she decided.
If you believe that, Megan, I'm having a bridge sale up here in Canada every weekend. Again, like, she's trying to blame the mental health situations on Christina when we all know the truth.
Decided not to go ahead with the hearing at that time. Now, is she continuing to pursue legal remedies? I have no idea. That's her business. And I also want to say, as I've said before, I said this on my initial live, I don't agree with everything that Lauren says or does. I don't agree with a lot of the ways that she's handled some of these situations. But the bottom line to me...
See, that's proof of how unbiased she is. See? It's proof. It's proof.
Is just those two things. Was it stalking, which we've already proved it was because she was granted a civil stalking injunction by a judge for which she had to present evidence? And was it violated?
So we've already gone through this, but I have to refute it again. The evidence was manufactured. The judge has no choice. The hearing was to determine whether or not that evidence, plus whatever evidence that Christina was going to bring with her, to determine from the evidence whether or not there needed to be any kind of stalking injunction. So she is mischaracterizing it again, and then she's going on full steam ahead with her biased opinions.
And I think that the hearing is going to clear a lot of that up. So let's go ahead and listen. Oh, hold on one second.
Okay, counsel, what were you able to work out?
Unfortunately, Your Honor, we're not going to be able to come to a stipulation today.
Okay. Let's go ahead and are you ready to proceed then?
We have one matter of housekeeping, Your Honor, from the petitioner, if that's all right.
Can everybody hear okay? I just want to make sure that the audio is good before I go play it for a long time and then have the same thing happen that happened the other day. Hey, Megan Music, good to see you. Sorry, this is the first time that I'm looking at chat. Okay, thanks for confirmation on audio. I appreciate it.
If I may, go ahead.
By the way, this is the petitioner's attorney, so this is Lauren's attorney.
So, given the nature of the claims and the emotional distress it's caused my client, and considering the audience we have here, my client is requesting that only the necessary parties, those from the respondent's side who will be testifying, be allowed to be in the courtroom. Provide her some sort of...
So she's wrong right off the get-go. This is Lauren's lawyer.
Safety and comfort during these proceedings. To the extent...
This is Lauren's lawyer saying we want to, make the safe space for Lauren so she doesn't have to face the people that she's accusing.
They can.
Okay. Mr. Dunkelberger?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd object to that. This is a petition that's been brought by the petitioner. She's going to be here in the courtroom, and as respondent, on this petition, entitled to have people here with her.
Yeah, it's an open courtroom. There's no motion filed to close it. So, and I expect the parties to be here in person in the other case. So that motion is denied.
Okay.
Now, as to the reality of where we are, how much time does counsel think that realistically you're going to need in this case?
Well, we need at least 2 witnesses, 3.
Wait, did I miss something?
Okay, so occasionally Melly is going to have, some reactions to this. So just, I'll comment on those if I need to.
Okay. Wait, I think I kind of need to go back. I don't want to miss anything.
Oh, shoot. So she's going to go back. That means I'm going to fast forward. I forgot that she did this. Plus, how cute is she? Beautiful, I mean. So...
We are going to try to do it in an hour of live testimony.
This is to appear remotely, clients and witnesses under oath, and see if they'll affirm. Okay, counsel, before we get going, do you want to proceed by proffer, and I'll ask put your clients and witnesses under oath and see if they'll affirm it, or do you want to call up witnesses, cross-examine, direct examine?
I think witnesses, we would prefer calling witnesses, not calling.
Okay, we are set for an hour hearing, so use that as you see fit. I notice I did have a motion to allow some witnesses to appear remotely.
Yes, Your Honor, that's our motion.
Are they out of state?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Petitioner also had a motion to allow one of our disabled witnesses to appear remotely. We granted that motion, I think, this morning, and provided the link. But we did have a request outstanding for other witnesses to appear if necessary.
So you guys would stipulate that the witnesses appearing remotely?
I have no objection to that.
Me neither, Your Honor. Your Honor, if we could just revisit the schedule today, though. There are several declarations filed on each side. Several witnesses probably intend to appear today. 1 hour is an awful short amount of time to get this all done. And if we are going to try to do it in an hour of live testimony, could we have some sort of a guidance from the court on how we split that up, or how our time is to be spent today?
Yeah, you guys choose how. I mean, I'll make it even, that it's 50% to each of you as to how you want to go about it. I noticed that there was several declarations filed in regards to this. Have the parties had any communication?
No, Your Honor. A little bit of procedure. Yeah.
Okay.
Forgive me, maybe I misunderstood. You mean counsels?
Yeah.
Counsel party?
Yeah.
Minimal on procedural matters last week.
How come there's been no effort to resolve this? Is there a reason why?
Well, from my perspective, it's not that we're against that or opposed to that. It's just the timing of it that's so short between when the injunction was filed and when you appeared. And so there's been a lot of evidence and other briefings to submit and worry about. So I would just say it's only because we haven't had a fair chance to do it.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Unless you guys think that some discussion, I can give you a little bit of time if you want to go out and discuss. I think that'll be fruitful. Otherwise, we'll just get going.
I can't believe we're listening to this right now.
I'm happy to go out with this.
So I want to say that this is a clip out of just the hearing that Melly played. Prior to this, she was doing a live about the situation, and someone emailed her this redacted audio recording of the hearing. I think she was the first one that had it, and she was quite surprised that she was getting this email and she was playing it, and she second guessed herself for a minute there. She was like, should we even be playing this? Can I get in trouble? So it's just that's why she's having these reactions. Now, this is the judge asking the parties if they've made an effort to resolve. They said they haven't had time to. So in a second here, the judge is going to excuse them to go try to reach a resolution, and then they'll come back in.
And try to have a quick discussion.
Okay, why don't you guys do that and then come back in and let me know.
I'm shook.
Thanks. 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah, 5. I mean, you can tell if we're making progress. As soon as you can see that we're going one direction or the other, let me know.
Thanks, Your Honor.
You may have a seat.
Okay, I'm going to pause this here because I think this is going to be incredibly tedious. So this is the point just before Lindsay is going to testify. I had to stop because there was just way too long of stuff that was just kind of housekeeping and not super relevant. And it was too much. It was just too tedious to listen to the whole thing. So I'm going to go through and just kind of look at the parts that I feel are relevant or interesting. So here we go. This is something to see.
Now, this is Lindsay. And if you watched my initial reporting of this situation, I suspect very strongly that Lindsay is the one who is sort of instigating all of this vitriol directed at Lauren. And I believe her to be sort of the leader.
Did she say her initial reporting? Sorry, I didn't know she thought of herself as a reporter. I mean, I guess that's obvious, but still, very incurious for a reporter.
Of the Mean Girl group. And I think that she sort of gets everybody spun up, and then they go off in their own direction and do what they're going to do. And I think that I don't think Lindsay ever encouraged anybody to actively stalk anybody or anything like that. But I think Lindsay knows, Christina, her predispositions, the way that she's going to react to some of those things. So this Lindsay.
So she is basically accusing Lindsay of being the ringleader here and saying that Lindsay is manipulating Christina because Christina is this sort of crazy, unstable type that can be goaded into behaving badly. So that's an interesting take. I didn't realize she felt that way. I wonder if Lindsay and Christina are aware of Megan's opinions about them. Not that they're important or anything, but I'd be curious to know.
Is this testimony is very, very important to the case.
She is so self-important, it's ridiculous. My God. I cannot believe that people are taking guidance from this woman.
Could you state and spell your name for the record, please?
Lindsay.
What?
Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Ms.
I'm shook,
In
you guys.
anticipation of the hearing today, did you provide a declaration to be filed with the court?
I did.
Okay, I just want to address this really quick. Nobody's asking me to do this. Lauren's not asking me to do this.
Okay, let's just read the little comment that's up on the screen that she wants to address. So the comment says, "Megan, I'm actually proud of you for standing up for Lauren. However, I think you're misguided here, and I find it gross that Lauren is allowing you to be her simp." Okay. Wow. So she's going to address this. Let's see. I am very curious. Okay. Here we go. Georgia 1033.
I'm doing this because I care about the truth, and I care about.
And if you believe that, I believe I mentioned earlier the bridge sale we're having up here in Canada.
Victims being able to speak their truth and being able to, have the venue that they choose to speak their truth.
Right. But not a courtroom, right? Everybody gets to speak their truth in their own safe space while going to court and telling lies about other people. Like, what is she even saying? This woman is for the truth. The way that, sorry, my brain just froze, but you know what I'm saying.
The reason I'm even talking about the hearing is because there was so much misinformation about it being commented on my channel. And I said this in the first video that I posted today, and I put it.
Like, she is the one to straighten anyone out about anything. She was literally just naming Christina as the instigator in a situation where Christina was not even present. So, dang.
As part 1 of 3, that my own subscribers were coming to me with comments and questions about this hearing, and that's the only reason.
This is what she keeps saying. It's like, everybody was coming to me. Everybody wanted to hear from me. Everybody was like, Megan, can you straighten this out for us? You're the only one we trust. You are the voice of reason, Megan. I mean, I didn't have any choice. Hands were forced.
And I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I do want the full story to be told, and if I have time,
She does not want the full story to be told. My God. She just sat there at the beginning and cherry-picked through a motion written by Lauren's lawyers as a preface to all of this. Because she wants to hear both sides and get all the truth out there, right? That's why she's only telling one side of the story in a very biased manner, because she wants the truth out there.
hoping to also read the response from the respondent in the case as well.
And did you have the opportunity to review, draft, contribute, or otherwise put your seal of approval on the declaration?
Yes.
And did you authorize me to sign on your behalf and file with the court?
Yes.
And did you understand at the time that your testimony in your declaration could be offered in place of your direct examination here at trial?
Yes.
And do you certify that you understood that you were making statements that you made under penalty of perjury of Utah law?
Yes.
And are these statements true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
Yes.
Just by way of background and a quick summary for the court, could you please tell me your relationship with Ms. Respondent?
I met Christina in April of 2024, and we became friends and have been friends since.
Okay. And would you please describe your relationship with the petitioner, Lauren Matthias?
I met Lauren Matthias in April of 2023, and we were acquaintances at first, and then later became friends. And then we were friends in April of 2024 when I met Christina.
Okay. Was there any point at which your friendship with Ms. Matthias changed?
Yes.
When was that?
In December of 2024.
And what happened?
Well, I was freelancing, working for her, and that relationship.
So I fast forwarded again because I don't think that Lindsay's testimony is as important as what the judge said, but I also do want to catch some of what Megan is saying about things. And so now she's going to talk about the, who is the ex-friend, right? She's going to identify the ex-friend. So here we go. And then Megan's going to say stuff about that as though it's super important.
Ask you, what is your understanding of who the ex-friend is?
My understanding, the ex-friend, to be Lauren Matthias.
That's my client.
So for all of you saying that the TikTok videos didn't mention Lauren's name, they didn't show her face, there were hashtags in the videos with Lauren Matthias's full name.
So I don't remember seeing any hashtags in the videos that had Lauren's full name. If you go to, again, Dreamfeed Media, she is doing videos breaking down the TikToks. And she's done one already that was all the TikToks from June. And there were no hashtags of Lauren Matthias's name in those at all. And she also separates, like she points out which comments on the TikToks came before Lauren's 9-hour live and which ones came afterwards. So it's a pretty good breakdown. It's time consuming and difficult to do because you can't play most of them because they have songs that will get your video struck being played in the background. So just to say, as far as I know, there were no hashtag Lauren Matthias's in the actual TikToks themselves.
And Lindsay just says right here on the stand under oath that she understands that the TikTok account Christina made, aside from her other account, all the
So she's making a big deal about Lindsay has just admitted here on the stand under oath that it's about Lauren. I don't think it's like, again, it's not that big a deal, right? It's like the lawyer saying, and did you know, how many of these TikToks were positive or whatever? Like, it doesn't matter. She is allowed to say negative things about Lauren Matthias online. Just the way that she sat here 2 minutes ago saying negative things about Lindsay online. So is Megan a stalker? Oh my goodness.
videos are referencing Lauren Matthias. That's what she believes.
Correct.
How would you characterize the nature of the videos about the ex-friend, my client? Were they positive or negative?
Which videos?
I'm just asking for your overall impression.
Okay.
All the videos you said you've seen.
Overall
Were they
impression.
positive about my client or negative, in your opinion?
I don't think they were positive, but
Okay. So you can't say they were positive. Can you think of any video that was positive?
there were actually a few where they weren't about your client. They were about protecting like your own personal peace, things like that. Things that were like kind of, I don't know, not like motivational, but like peaceful. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
You see how she's so neutral? Anyway, we know what she thinks of Lindsay. So she thinks that Lindsay has started the whole thing and that Lindsay is using a little girl voice to manipulate the court.
So in the second video that I posted today, I show the TikTok account. I go through it, and I can tell you, I haven't watched all.
She didn't go through it. She scrolled through the unopened videos. She didn't go through it in any way that could be described as going through it. She didn't play a single video, and she judged that there was nothing positive in any of those TikToks.
Of those videos, but it does not look like there's anything there about protecting your personal peace, and it doesn't look like there's anything in there that is positive. There was one video that I saw.
She didn't watch the videos or go through them, so you cannot listen to her. Like everything else she says, it's biased, it's based on partial information, and it's about making herself the arbiter of truth.
That was not sort of vitriolic, and that was a Charlie Kirk memorial post. So you can go look at the TikTok for yourself.
Yeah, we did, and we saw exactly what there was there, and whatever it is that you're trying to insinuate wasn't there. So I have regrouped. I have moved myself over here. I carried on for a while, but then the audio that she's using, so the woman's audio that she's using, she interjects a bunch of times. Megan stops to talk about things a bunch of times, but she's on mute. And so there's a lot of kind of faffing around and silliness that was just really distracting and irritating. And although there's some interesting stuff there, and I would recommend that people go listen to the audio over on, it's not Every Day with Jay, it's on Jay is for Justice. I just fast forwarded to the point where Christina's lawyer, the respondent's lawyer, makes a motion to dismiss the injunction based on the evidence that he wants to submit and based on the testimony of the two witnesses. So that's where we are. So yeah, here we go from there.
I'm having is I'd like to make a motion to dismiss the temporary restraining order today. Again, almost a month is a long time for a temporary order to last, and I think that particularly Defendant 12, the Boise Police Report, is really central to the way that Ms. Matthias obtained the temporary order in the first place. She represents...
That's going to be hearsay. I mean, let's talk about that. That's one of the things. That police report is hearsay, and her testimony doesn't get you past hearsay.
Well, so her testimony can lay, and if you like, I can absolutely lay foundation for how she received it. It's a business record. The police have kept it in the ordinary course of business.
You don't have an officer here.
This is a civil proceeding. That's right, but she can testify that she received it directly from the police along with the other videos and things that the petitioner submitted. And with that, it's kept in the ordinary course of business. It is a police report, but...
But she couldn't lay foundation, and you might look at it, she can't lay foundation that it was kept in the regular course of business. She's not the records keeper for the police department. I mean, and really, let's go to your primary point. I don't want to get caught up on that. Your primary point is that you've got some issues with the temporary stalking injunction being extended.
So just to say, like, he is saying that the evidence that they want to bring in today is not going to be acceptable to the court, and so therefore there's no way that they could lay aside the civil stalking injunction based on that evidence anyway. And so really the judge thinks that what they need to address is Christina's ability to work and and her free speech rights. So he's not going to go ahead with the motion to dismiss based on what he just said there.
During this time period, and from your arguments previously, it seems like your client's primary concern is that this impacts her ability to make a living.
Yes.
And her free speech rights.
Yes, Your Honor.
Talk to me about the free speech rights. How does this impact her free speech rights?
Yeah, so with that, Your Honor...
And I read your case law. I want to know factually what in the stalking injunction prevents her from saying what she needs to say. Go ahead.
Sure.
I just want to say that I really like this judge. He seems really on top of things here. Nobody is going to run rings around him, and I think that might have become very clear to Lauren as well, that this was judge was nobody's fool.
Your Honor, well, so, and we don't believe that it does, but petitioner has alleged that by posting videos, again, without using the petitioner's name or her likeness, that she has violated the temporary order. Now, the amended temporary restraining order does say to keep off online. The respondent understood that to be do not contact her on TikTok, do not contact her on Instagram or on any other platform. The allegation is simply by referencing, making a post that's related to the petitioner online, that she's somehow violated the temporary order. There's 3 videos that they claim have already violated it. That's 3 of the 6 alleged violations that they're prepared to talk about today. And so there's got to be some clarity there. That just doesn't jive with Towner or with Fischler. Certainly the First Amendment allows talking to third parties or the public about somebody. That's Towner v. Ridgway. That's been the law for a long time. Fischler reiterates it. It's just plain letter law in Utah. She hasn't communicated through these posts to or specifically directed at the petitioner. And for that reason, I mean, she's basically gagged online at this point, according to petitioner. Now, we're hoping that the court determines and agrees with us that you can't interpret the amended temporary order that way, but certainly they've alleged that on the language on its face that she's not allowed to go online and to post anything related to the petitioner, and obviously that's got First Amendment issues, and practically it's unfeasible. Everybody goes online and everybody can comment with their friends. Instagram, TikTok, those are ways that we communicate these days, and certainly Ms. entitled to communicate to her friends and followers via these online platforms, and it's simply unfair to go another 3 weeks just allowing petitioner to collect videos that have been posted that are First Amendment protected and bring them and use them as a cudgel when we get finally to court for the full hearing, which we thought was going to happen today.
Thank you. Go ahead, response.
I have to object to the characterizations he's made on behalf of myself and my client and our positions. The evidence that we're getting lost in weeds. The motion he made was based on the testimony for the declarations that the court should suspend the temporary order. But there is no evidence to suggest that. That's not the question. The question, Your Honor, is whether or not my client has the burden to prove that it should continue. There's been no motion to set aside at this point. So that's improper. That's not properly before the court. The rest of the argument and representation.
Why would he finally want to set it aside? He thought he got a hearing today to go in full.
Well, I'm just saying procedure. There are procedural ways to do that. Those haven't been met. So that's why the other arguments.
So, sorry, it's pretty sped up there, but basically Lauren's lawyer is complaining that Christina's lawyer's motion to dismiss is procedurally wrong, and that he should have filed it ahead of time or whatever. And the judge is just making the point, well, why would he file it ahead of time? He thought the whole hearing was going to go today, and the decision was going to be made today, so there would have been no reason for him to have made that motion because he thought it was going to be decided today already. So that's where we are with that. Maybe I'll slow it down a little bit because I don't want to miss what the judge is saying and the lawyer's arguments
about what's been said online or what they're about have yet to be proven and shown. Virtually all of what he said is not based on evidence that is before the court today. So the court can't make that ruling today.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, and with that, Your Honor, this is a motion. I mean, we're making it. We learned minutes ago that this is going to be extended for another 3 weeks, and this severely impacts respondents' civil rights. I mean, this is what we have. I mean, at a minimum, we need a clarification for the amended temporary order that that makes clear that she's entitled to go online and talk about whatever she chooses to talk about online, and that.
So basically, now Christina's lawyer is saying, fair enough, fine, but you have to, she's being completely gagged here. There's basically a gag order on her. And she's also been, with the 500-foot rule, is me saying that she can't, is making it impossible for her to work. So he wants to address those two issues. If they're not going to dismiss it, he wants her to at least have enough freedom that she can work and, exercise her civil rights online.
That certainly can't be a gag order that it has extended, that we're going to be on for a motion for sanctions about, and that's going to go for another 3 weeks now.
Your Honor, I would object to the characterization of the language of the civil stalking injunction itself. It's not what he represented.
Well, I'm reading it. And it's my order, so I'll make the interpretation of it.
See, he's sharp, this judge. He's not, and I think he's balanced, right? He's not taking anything from anybody that he's not prepared to take from anybody. I think he's being fair and balanced, and I think that that speaks well of what he ultimately says, is because he's shown himself that he's not just taking one side and acting in a biased way.
Okay. I do have, I'm not sure how this was interpreted, but let's go back to the purpose of an ex parte temporary order. That is to stop any harm. Specifically, we're looking at ongoing threats or physical harm that could happen. It's made without all the information. It's made simply, basically from one side, providing the information.
Right? It's made from one side providing the information. Now, Megan here has said multiple times that the judge wouldn't have given the stalking order if it wasn't stalking. Right? And now the judge is basically refuting that. He's like, all I've got is one side's information, so we don't know if it's stalking. That's what the hearing is about.
As the ex parte order right now, it prohibits personal contact and prohibits threatening, annoying, stalking, harassing. That will remain in place as is. As to the no contact order.
Oh, I got there first, Megan. She is about to say that this is... she's about to say that this is, vindication, that it's stalking. When it's literally only vindication that the hearing hasn't happened yet to determine whether it's stalking. But here we go. Let's hear what she says. This is why I moved ahead so much, because she keeps doing this. I'll give her a chance, because I feel like she's...
I always mute myself, sorry, when my kids and my dogs are around. I'm so sorry. This was the point at which the judge could have vacated the order. If he did not believe that stalking was taking place...
Right? She's mischaracterizing it. The judge did... say no, I'm not going to set aside the stalking order. But he also is going to go on to clarify very, very nicely exactly what Christina is allowed and isn't allowed to do. And a lot of that is going to reflect, to my mind, how he feels about the level of a threat that Christina poses. So she is characterizing this as, if he didn't think it was stalking, he would dismiss it right now. And that's not true. As far as I see it, The only thing he has said is, this can't be decided. I can't decide to vacate it today because we haven't seen all the evidence yet. That is the only thing that he has conceded to the petitioner.
If he did not believe the evidence that has so far been presented, if he didn't believe, the testimony, or if he, did believe the testimony of the two witnesses that came up there and said that they, weren't involved in any stalking behaviors, this would have been the point at which the judge would have vacated the order.
Because I am not claiming any special legal knowledge about civil legal processes, but I don't feel like she's right there. I feel like the judge's ruling was, we don't have all the evidence yet, and he wasn't going to allow them to use the police report. Those were the only conclusions that he came to. There was nothing about, if he didn't believe this was stalking. And I think that's going to come out much more clearly when we see what it is that he's prepared to allow, so that Christine is able to work.
As you just heard the attorney of the respondent make a motion to vacate the order and to just get rid of it, so that Christina wasn't prohibited from working and from, living her life online and doing whatever else she wanted to do. So this is the point that I wanted to point out to people, is that if the judge did not believe it was stalking, he could have vacated the order right here and ended this whole thing.
So, again, she is characterizing it that she knows what's inside the judge's head, based on him not vacating the order right now, rather than like what he has basically said, right? Is like, we got to hear all the evidence. So, again, I don't know all about the legal processes, and if the lawyer made the motion to dismiss it, then I assume that the judge could have said, yes, I'm going to dismiss it. But I don't believe that he had completed enough of the process to be able to do that in good conscience. That's how I am understanding what is going on here. So I am not in agreement with Megan's take on this, that if he didn't think it was stalking. I think that he is reserving judgment until he sees all the evidence.
But clearly, from what he saw and what he read, he is upholding the civil stalking injunction that he put in place in the first place.
That will remain in place. Specifically as to the text.
I mean, he is doing that, but she is imputing meaning to it that is not by any means, a foregone conclusion.
Mail, email, or any other communication, directly or indirectly. In other words, I don't want them talking to each other. Now, it does identify other people and family members for sure. So Mr. Matthias is sure going to be covered by that. As to Grace and Yor, is there any reason that your client would need to contact Mr. Yor?
Miss Yor, but no.
Oh, excuse me, Miss Yor, thank you. Okay, then Miss Yor's included on this. Son is covered by this. So that will remain in place as well. As far as the stay away order portion of it, stay away from her home, that will remain in place as well.
So far, like, none of the things that he's saying, those are all going to stay in place. I don't see any of those being a hardship to Christina, because she wasn't doing any of those things anyway. So those things are not a problem, right? It's the not being able to post online and not being able to go to work.
Is there any reason why she would need to go to near a job site or a school of Miss Matthias?
Well, no, but just to clarify, I mean, there's public places where they both
I'm
make
going to deal with that.
Okay, so no, not in Henderson, Nevada.
Okay.
See, he has no patience with frivolousness, or what he sees as frivolousness, from either side. So they're short on time, and that could be a part of it, but he is certainly nobody's fool or nobody's lackey here, this judge.
And then I think this is the provision that may be misinterpreted here, that she's prohibited from online forums and social media accounts. But that was in kind of in parentheses, TikTok, but then it says down there the 2025 CrimeCon Expo that was in Denver, Colorado, September 5th through 7th. When I was reviewing this, that was what I was looking at, was that CrimeCon. I had no way intended that the respondent was to be kept off of social media sites. I do think that's freedom of speech issues, and I don't think that this order was intended to cover that. So she can get on those now. I guess she runs the risk if she's on those and those are interpreted as annoying or harassing, although I will say that's a fairly high bar in the sense of just because somebody says something you don't like, that's not going to be a violation of the stalking injunction.
Exactly. So a lot of people jumped on this, what the judge was saying, and they were trying to say that in the judge's opinion that, you know, that this was not stalking and it was just Lauren complaining about things that she didn't like that were.
So the judge actually does say that later. He says it quite clearly. So I don't know if she's just not aware of that or if she's trying to snow ya. But the judge very clearly says later that it appears to him that that's what's going on.
Said. What the judge actually said was, Christina can get on social media. She can say things that she wants to say, but she can't cross the line into annoying, harassing, defamatory content.
So, I mean, to be clear, we can all get on social media and say things about other people, but we just can't cross the line over into annoying, harassing, defamatory content. So there's no there. Like, that's just the law. It applies to everyone. So she's trying to make it like the judge is especially telling Christina that. But it's like, that's the case for all of us. That's the whole law.
And there would have.
What? The judge is like, that's not stalking. Do I need to clean my ears? Did I hear?
Yes, clean your ears, because he didn't say that it wasn't stalking. What he said, can we just let's rewind it maybe? Because a lot of people misinterpreted this part, I think. Purposely, they heard what they wanted to hear.
Honestly, I think she's right now. He didn't say it's not stalking. Yeah. So Melly, or whoever's channel this is, did jump the gun a bit on that one.
Those are interpreted as, I in no way intended that the respondent was to be kept off of social media sites. I do think that's freedom of speech issues, and I don't think that this order was intended to cover that. So she can get on those now.
So she can get on social media sites.
I guess she runs the risk if she's on those and those are interpreted as annoying or harassing, although I will say that's a fairly high bar.
Yes, it's a high bar to prove that it's harassing.
In the sense of, just because somebody says something you don't like, that's not going to be a violation of a stalking injunction. And there would have.
What? The judge is like, that's not.
So what the judge said was, if it's just something that Lauren doesn't like, that's not a violation. Agreed.
Stalking. Do I need to clean my ears? Did I hear that right? Wow, I'm shook.
Have to be directed comments that were clearly meant for a specific purpose. Yeah, there was, in obtaining the order, petitioner made some allegations that she had a strong belief that she was in immediate danger in relation again to the CrimeCon that was in Denver, Colorado. Now, as to the work environment, it does sound like the parties may attend similar court hearings. I'm assuming court hearings. Is there any other public buildings where they need to be in the same spot?
Well, the accompanying press conferences and other kind of public places is what we're talking about.
Okay. As to those, I do think that this order is not intended to stop this. from working?
So I would object to that characterization, Your Honor. Sorry, the respondent doesn't work.
Interesting, right? Because if it wasn't intended to stop her working, and her trip to CrimeCon could have been, was like networking for her job or anything, then she should have been allowed to go to CrimeCon under the same conditions that he's just about to lay out here. So just an observation. And now Lauren's brother's employee is about to diss Christina and say that she doesn't work in the true crime industry.
At courthouses. She's not a criminal investigator. My client is. So the representation that they need to appear in public, they may appear in public places based on her employment is not accurate. She has no employment in this field.
I think it's not disputed that they're public places. It may be in dispute whether they consider her to be a professional in this field. We certainly do call that a disputed issue, but it's not disputed that they're public places.
What does she do?
She takes photos.
She's a photographer?
Yeah.
She's not a photographer for the court.
Oh, sorry.
Well, that's true. She's a freelance photographer, and she also is, like everybody, trying to make her way in this true crime industry.
Oh, that's
Okay,
Christina.
right. She does freelance work for some
That's Christina in the background.
national news outlets you would have heard about.
So there was a bunch of interruptions there, but what Christina's saying in the background there is that she does freelance work for national outlets.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, let me address the public place argument first. That doesn't fly because stalking injunctions often cover public places. However, it does sound like she has a right to be there and she's got a purpose for being there. And
Okay, so the judge is saying just because it's a public place, that doesn't mean that Christina's allowed to be within 500 feet of Lauren. However, it does sound like she has a legitimate purpose for being there. And therefore,
if that's the case, if she's there with a purpose, then she can be there. The order is that they will keep that she will keep her distance because Ms. Matthias, she's not a respondent. There isn't a counter one, so Ms. is required to keep her distance from.
I want to point this out too. There was not a counter petition.
so she's going to go ahead here and assume motives and assign, reasons and all the rest of that, with no evidence whatsoever, just by saying things like, well, why wouldn't she get one if she really thought that she was being stalked or harassed? Why wouldn't she do it? When, Christina might have many reasons for not doing that, right? Not the least of which might be that, trying to play one-upmanship with a narcissist is a dangerous game. They will go from 0 to trailer park in about, a fraction of a second. So you want to watch out with that. So I'm not saying that's Christina's motive. All I'm saying is it could be, and she certainly doesn't know what Christina's motive is.
By the respondent to have an injunction against Lauren's behavior, against Lauren's proximity. So Christina, if she felt that she was being harassed or threatened by Lauren, why did she not file her own order for a stalking injunction against Lauren? I think it's a fair question. I think it's an important question.
Yeah, it's really not an important question, but she thinks it makes her look important to try to turn the tables in some way like that.
Petitioner. Now, it's hard to say exactly how far that is because it may be different if we've got a media scrum or something and we've been taking photos, then it may be closer. But
Okay, so just to reiterate here, because I was talking and she was talking, the judge is saying in these type of media situations, press conferences, what have you, that these two may, have to be closer together, but that he expects everybody to behave themselves. They're not to talk to each other. They're not to, do anything, right? And so based on Megan just earlier saying how, see, this is proof that the judge, he could have ended it right there if he didn't think it was stalking, I'm going to say that to me, this seems like evidence that the judge does not think that Christina is really dangerous. because if he felt that she did pose a physical threat to Lauren, I can't see him allowing her to be in a press scrum with her. So that's my take on that. I could be wrong. I'm not inside the judge's head, but he seems like a pretty sharp sort of a guy, and I don't think he would miss a trick like that. You know what I'm saying?
She certainly cannot be right next to her. She certainly can't be making faces to her. She can't be making gestures. She can't be making comments. None of that can occur. If they're in the courtroom, like a courtroom here today, I'd expect that they would be on opposite sides of the courtroom. So I expect to receive a modified temporary civil stalking injunction.
Sorry, so just to interrupt again, he expects them to be on opposite sides of the courtroom. So unlike Lauren, who was approaching, I think it was Lori, after giving her a cease and desist and asking if she could sit up next to her, if that seat was taken, even though there were, based on the statements of several witnesses, there were other seats on the other side of the courtroom. So Christina is not allowed to do what Lauren does, basically. So now the judge is talking about, the amended order, the copy of the amended order that makes these things clear.
With those changes incorporated.
Your Honor, if I may, I'm sorry. There is actually one more place where the online stuff and the social media, way down at the bottom with other relief sought, is actually where I was quoting from earlier, where it says that she's not allowed to post relating to or referencing petitioner. And that's, I think, one of the things that we need to clarify.
Where it says respondent shall cease and desist any and all online activity and communications relating to or referring to the petitioner, her immediate family and extended family members.
Is that portion subject to the court's clarification on the other bit that you just made?
Yeah, now I think I was clear before that I expect her not to post anything necessarily that she's running a risk. If she posts something negative about her, that's something she can, I guess, theoretically do. But she needs to be careful in walking that line.
Is there any clarification?
So the same thing, right? Like the same thing that all of us are subject to, right? You can say negative stuff, but you can't not defame and harass people.
Could give us on what might be qualified as negative?
Well, she's threatening her. Again, we have to go back to the purpose of a stalking injunction. If she's threatening her, if there's a harassment that would cause emotional harm, I mean, all of us run the risk that somebody's going to say something bad about us. Whether that turns into harassment I think that's a high bar.
Is there any
Let me be clear on this, Mr. Dale. This civil stalking injunction was in no way meant to silence what Mr.
This is the part, right? Let me be clear, Mr. Doe. This was not intended to silence anyone.
What Ms. is doing. And I want to be very clear on that.
What?
And any permanent stalking injunction will not be for that purpose.
Is he saying that it's not to silence Christina?
That's correct. The stalking injunction was not meant to silence her. It was not meant to interfere with her free speech rights.
Doesn't she seem like she is suddenly like, see, that's what I said all along. I was on side with the judge the whole time. And, Doesn't it seem like she's suddenly very amenable to all of this?
I'm shooketh. I'm shooketh.
That is not what a stalking.
The extent of Melly's commentary throughout the whole thing seems to be that she was shooketh. So, I mean, I think it was a bit of an eye opener for a lot of people. I hope it was.
Stalking injunction is for.
I guess I'm looking for clarity on what it is the court is basically it's ruling on when it says what she does or what she's doing. And
What do you mean?
so the respondent isn't a true crime investigator. She's a photographer. She has an art channel on Instagram. She has separate media accounts, social media accounts that discuss solely the flaws of my client, to air them, to cause her harassment. I guess I'm not sure that.
Again, so he is assuming motives as well, right? And I think the judge is sharp enough to, to pick that up, right?
But we haven't had a chance to provide all that evidence yet, so we'll do that at the next hearing. My concern, though, is that based on just the testimony today, that has not been challenged or refuted, and so there is still an outstanding concern that the activity we've alleged that is happening online and in person and to other contacts has not been refuted properly and is not.
Yeah, and I'm not making a final ruling. I'm making
Well, I guess so the order, if the order is to remove this online protection from specific directed, harassment, embarrassing things that would cause my client emotional distress, I guess that's what I'm looking for clarification on. Is the court withdrawing that based on something it saw today? Because there isn't anything we've seen today that would.
Well, I think what the court is looking at is we're trying to get more clarity than a one-sided order that was initially signed. That was based on one-sided information.
Sure, and we don't mean to interfere with her public or First Amendment rights. But to the extent she has made specific channels titled Objection, Your Honor.
Did everybody hear that? We didn't mean to interfere with her First Amendment rights.
I mean, again, I have a bridge to sell you, Megan. Come on up. Like, get a grip, woman.
That was not the purpose, and whoever in chat said that's what Lauren wanted. How do you know? Her attorney just said that's not what they wanted.
Right. Her brother's employee, who is currently under investigation and charged with multiple felonies for, what did he do? He forged his wife's signature so that he could change all of his children's names while he was busy changing his name. So, I mean, maybe a lot of that came out just recently, and maybe Megan didn't know all the details, but she sure was ready to back that lawyer's contention. Like, why would he ever say anything that wasn't true when he is a documented liar? So,
About my client, we would ask that protections or restrictions on those accounts be held in place until
That seems to be directly a freedom of speech issue.
They're directed at my client.
Right, which is a freedom of speech issue. You can say things about people. We may not like them, but we can.
I'm dead. What? This is crazy. So is this why Lauren canceled this whole thing?
yes, that's exactly why Lauren canceled this whole thing. Melly, I'm sorry I said your whole commentary was just saying you were shooketh. I was so wrong. I'm gonna guess that little Megan is gonna say that, no, that's not why she did it. She did it to save her family.
I have
Because the
to
judge
say,
wasn't going to stand behind it.
no.
Wow.
That's not why she canceled it. So
What she's prohibited from doing, let me be clear, because you're asking for clarity.
I don't
She
know.
cannot threaten. She can't threaten her physically or her family. She cannot defame her. If there's a defamation, then that's something that's illegal and would fit under a stalking injunction. I think that's what we're looking at, is that she can't do.
I can represent to you that there are many, many videos that defame my client.
Okay.
So I would ask that temper.
Again, so I've seen those videos and I didn't see any defamation. So if the judge were to go on just the word of this lawyer, he would be doing wrong. And that's why he didn't go just on the word of the respondent's lawyer either, and has continued the hearing so that all of the evidence can be aired out and looked at and a proper decision made. And in the meantime, he is being fair to all the parties. That's my take.
Protection be in place until such time as we can review, the court can review the defamation.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm amending it, saying that she won't threaten. We're going to be very clear online. She won't threaten. She won't defend. Okay?
Wow.
Whether online or other.
Well, she's not talking to her in person. I expect zero communication as far as she can't talk to her, she can't email her, she can't text her. Mr. Doppelbarger, I want to be clear. She can't do that through a third party. She can't send a message through a third party.
And she didn't do any of that throughout the time that ever since she's received the stalking injunction. So, right? She's not accused. She didn't do any of that.
There is to be no communication there. The other parts of the civil stalking injunction remain intact as well. I don't want her near her house.
Does the 500 feet specifically remain?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, as to her house. Now, like I said, the only exception to the 500 feet is if they're in a public space that they cannot be 500 feet apart. And then I expect them to be as far apart as reasonably possible. That's language I want in there, Mr. Dunkelberger.
Yes, Your Honor.
But otherwise, that is 500 feet. So Mr. Dagelberger, if they're in a mall, your client needs to move away 500 feet. If they're in a restaurant, and if your client comes in second, then your client needs to not go in and needs to leave.
Oh, interesting.
What if it's the other way around? What if she was there first?
Well, and why would your client go in if she's worried about her health, if she knows her?
Right? Why did Lauren go into the bar at the hotel at CrimeCon when she knew that her stalker, of whom she was terrified, was in there? The judge is asking the very question. And Megan is nodding along here like this is all perfectly good and common sense, and she always agreed with it.
That's the key. If she knew, if she didn't know she was there, but the respondent says, well, I was here first, what should my client expect to do in that circumstance?
Well, I would expect if your client is worried about her safety, when the reason we got a stalking injunction, and she goes in there, she would leave. Now, if by chance we've got Ms. McCarthy is in there, I'm assuming your client's not going to go over and approach her. I'm assuming Ms. McCarthy is not going to approach her and that she will leave. Provided.
Which are all the things that happened at CrimeCon. Right? Even though Christina was there first, she still left. She still got away from Queen Lauren.
She's finished her meal. But I expected there would be no communication. There would be no, again, facial gestures, anything of that. They finished their meal, they'd go on their way.
It seems very clear to me that he does not believe that Christina poses an actual physical threat to Lauren. Otherwise, he would be much more strict about the 500-foot rule. I can't see anything different than that. But, I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems... If he really thought that Christina was, a threat to Lauren, that she was going to attack her or something, I don't think he would allow all this eating in the same restaurant, and as long as you let her finish her meal first and all that. He literally just said Christina should be allowed to finish her meal. And why is Lauren even coming in there anyway? So
be careful how we're using the tools of the law in this courtroom, and I expect the parties to use common sense.
I find it so annoying that she's nodding along all sagely as though this has been her stance the whole time, when she has been so completely on the opposite side of common sense as to be, practically in a different state.
Say, Mr. Dale, anything I missed on you that you want to address?
Let me review the language, Your Honor. Oh, these clarifications you're making, I assume they apply also to the other protected individuals, her husband, her son, coworkers, etc.
Went through that. Yep.
Okay, I think you did.
Grasping at straws.
Professional associates, other known professional associates of my client.
Oh, this is another good one.
Can we retain that?
They're not covered under this list, so no, she can have contact with them.
Christina is allowed to contact Lauren's professional contacts, etc., etc. They are not included in the stalking injunction. So, just to be clear, she's allowed to do that. I don't think Megan liked that too much.
What I did prohibit is third-party communications. You can't send a message through one of them.
Understood.
Nor did she. Right? So, just saying.
Wow.
With respect to with respect to the online posts, I think that's the biggest concern for my client. In addition to defaming statements, is there any other clarification the court can give on what would constitute a defamatory statement? So that there's no argument. So there's no like.
What's legally defined as defamation? It's got to fit the legal definition.
Okay. What about harassment?
Defamation, defamation. There are legal definitions of many of these terms, and he should know that very well. He's just trying to, get some extra juice out of it.
I don't know what that's going to qualify as, and I can't get into everything. I would say, Ms. MacArthur, I'd be careful in the way you do that. But again, if she's just saying negative stuff, this is not, again, a stalking injunction is not a remedy for shutting down speech that a person doesn't like somebody saying about them. And it seems like that's what you're trying to do in this case.
Well, again, Your Honor, I would argue that we're not asking to restrict her.
Notice how she stopped nodding along as soon as the judge says, and it seems like that's what you're trying to do in this case. Suddenly Megan's little nodding head stopped.
Speech. She can still go anywhere else.
That is, online speech is every bit as protected as anywhere else.
Some forms of speech, like threats and defamation, are not protected.
And that's what I put
And if that's the best we can do, like that, as most clear we can be, I understand. I just wanted to ask for any additional clarification you would give. Be instructed to both parties.
Yep. Okay, I think I've been clear on that. Mr. Duckelberger, anything from your side?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
See, again, I like this judge. He's like, yeah, I've been clear. Cut it out. Sit down.
Okay, with that, we'll plan on seeing you. We've got the 2 witnesses. I will just save the time. Outside of the parties themselves, if you've got out-of-state witnesses, they can attend virtually unless they're going to be presenting hard evidence. In other words, documents or some other type of physical evidence. They're going to be doing that. I want them here because it gets real confusing with the technology. And so other than that, if they're out of state, they can appear remotely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we will be in recess. Thank you. All rise.
Okay, so that ends the court hearing. I have the statement from the respondent, from Christina. I am going to read that. I also...
Okay, so she read at the beginning of this, she read the petitioner's statement. And then that was the frame in which we watched all this, and now that it's over, she's going to read the other statement next time. So again, like leaving you stewing in her opinions that are super biased, and not giving the respondent a chance until next time. So I just think that's a bit meh.
also have 61 comments and questions starred that I want to address, but I can't do it right now because I have another show on my other channel with Kirsten. We do family night over there every Monday night live, where we talk about our Mormon upbringing, and the channel is called Ex-Mormon Snark. Please feel free to join us over there if you wish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the studio open so that I can see the comments that have been starred, and I will...
I'm going to have to go check out the Ex-Mormon Snark, maybe. Let me know if you want me to review some Ex-Mormon Snark.
Create another live after that one, and I will read the respondent's response as well as responding to these questions on that live as well. I know you have a lot of questions, and so do I. Well, not that I have a lot of questions. Well, I do have some questions, but I do have a lot more that I want to clarify and say, because it's very clear to me in the chat that lots and lots of people don't understand what's going on here. And again,
that's so great, right? Lots and lots of people are questioning your take on this, is basically what's happening. And you're going to try to frame it as all these people just don't understand what happened. So good luck with that.
The reason why I'm doing this, the reason why I care about it is, number one, I've been stalked more than once. Number two, I care.
Okay, so now she's been stalked more than once. Yesterday, well, I mean, she didn't say yesterday. She just said those of us who have been stalked. So now today she's telling us it was more than once. So interesting.
About the truth, and it's very clear to me that there have been a lot of misconceptions in this case, and it's very clear to me also that people don't understand stalking, and they don't understand how serious it is. So again, I'm going to recommend the two.
That is just so condescending. It's bizarre. It's like Dr. John, honestly, being like, nobody can take new information and change their mind. Because y'all are just a bunch of, Pavlov's dogs reacting to stimulus or whatever. It's very insulting of her to talk that way. Honestly, it feels insulting to me. Maybe I'm insulting at times too. I don't know, but I hope I don't come off as moralizing, because I find her moralizing very, very tedious.
Videos that I already posted, they clarify a lot of the things that you've asked in the chat and the questions. I posted them earlier today. They're part 1 and part 2. This is part...
Those are the 2 that I've already gone over, and they didn't clarify anything except how much of a either a grifter or a complete dumbass this woman is.
3. Now I'm going to have to do a part 4. But I want to restate.
She has to do part 4 because the world can't live without part 4. The world can't live without Megan's interpretation of this.
The statistics that I quoted in my very first video about this. 69% of attempted murder victims, 65% of attempted murder victims and 69% of murdered individuals were stalked prior to the crimes happening.
That may or may not be true. I don't think that those are the same numbers she gave us before, but I do know that Lauren was not stalked. So
that's why this matters to me. Stalking behavior is serious, and people who violate stalking orders are unpredictable and dangerous.
Again, like, she's trying to characterize, she's defaming Christina, to my mind, right here, right now. She's defaming Christina. There's no stalking order in place. She knows that very well, and yet she's out here calling Christina a stalker. Online, she's doing exactly what she was nodding along all about, that people shouldn't be doing, defaming other people online. And she's defaming Christina online right here, comparing her to dangerous, unpredictably violent stalkers.
That's what I want to say. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your support. Those of you with whom I disagree, you're always welcome. And I appreciate the healthy pushback. It helps to remind me that I don't know everything. And I also, I know that everybody doesn't agree.
She doesn't appreciate the healthy pushback. One comment saying Lauren is a fake, and she's like, that's not allowed over here. You're just being mean. You're just being nasty. Whether, in fact, Lauren is a fake, and it's relevant to this whole thing. So, again, her actions and her words don't match.
Agree with my take, and that's fine. I'm really, really grateful for you being here. And I definitely am going to answer. Again, I said I've got 61 questions and comments starred, and I will go back and answer those. I just don't have time to do it now. So thanks again for being here. I really appreciate you.
Okay, so that's the end of another video for today. Thank you all so much for coming and joining me during the preview and chatting in the chat and commenting and liking and sharing and all that sort of stuff. I am still quite just overwhelmed by all the positive support that I've had, and I just want to say how much I appreciate you all. I genuinely do. You've made a big change in my life, and it's been a positive one and very welcome. So until next time.